Welcome to the Transum Podcast, a monthly roundup of the new features on the transum.org website, providing mathematical puzzles, games, learning activities, and the ever-popular mathematics lesson starter of the day. Here's your host, John Tranter.
Hello and welcome to podcast number 79 for the month of June 2021. I hope it finds you fit and well. So let's begin with the puzzle of the month, which I've chosen from a new book I'm reading called 100 Maddening Mind-Mending Puzzles from Rob Eastway and David Wells, which, by the way, is excellent. So here we go. This is one of their puzzles. The Gussetshire buses are among the last in the country where you can still buy your ticket with cash. The bus fares are all either £1 or 70 pence. Yesterday, Mrs. P put £1 on the tray and the driver gave her a £1 ticket. Then Mrs. Q put £1 on the tray and the driver asked her, "Do you want a £1 ticket or a 70p ticket?" The driver had never seen either of the women before, so why the different treatment? Okay, so have a think about that. The answer will be at the end of this podcast. And while you are thinking about it, I'll mention some of the new resources and some other thoughts I've had this month for your entertainment and education, I guess. The first new activity to have appeared last month is called Unbeknownst. It's a bit like those puzzles you see shared on social media, which can actually be solved using one linear equation with one unknown, and then you figure out by substitution all of the other unknowns. But this activity looks like them, but you actually need to use simultaneous equations to solve the puzzles. So there are 5 levels of difficulty, and at each level, if you refresh the page, the puzzle changes. So you've got lots of resources to use as you see fit. Now, another equations from pictures activity is called simultaneous shopping. So what I've done is I've added shopping baskets containing items, but I've also added coupons. And this introduces negative coefficients into the simultaneous equations. That's at level 5, so my thinking is as students have progressed through levels 1 to 4, they will have got all the necessary skills to then cope with these negative coefficients without any further teaching. So have a go at that, simultaneous shopping. The links to all the things I talk about in this podcast are available at transum.org/newsletter. Okay, what else has happened last month? Well, 2 new help videos were created and uploaded. One covered the formulas for finding the volumes of solid shapes, and the other covered area and perimeter. So they are in the help tabs to the relevant exercises. So I hope students, if they do get stuck, will find those useful. An exercise on the area and perimeter of a kite has been added to the Kite Maths collection. This is an old section of the website, and it was originally inspired by my amazement at the amount of mathematics that can be represented by folding kites from A4 sheets of paper. Well, actually, any A size, so A3, A4, A5, whatever. And if you do it with coloured paper, you can make some stunning displays as well as enjoying all the mathematics that it has to offer.
You can find Transum Mathematics at www.transum.org.
Transum subscriber Chris Boardman suggested the standard form algebra exercises and sent me some great question ideas. So have a look at that. I've already been using it with some Year 11 pupils. Very nice take on standard form or scientific notation, and it really does deepen understanding. Talking of Year 11 pupils, one of them has asked for help with some equations he's encountered in physics on the propagation of uncertainties. Now, I thought I'd be well equipped to help out, having taught upper and lower bounds for many years, but then I discovered that this physics topic is something else completely. Look it up on Wikipedia if you want to know what I mean. Propagation of uncertainties. Oh well, I have until tomorrow to make sure I can answer the questions in the textbook and that I don't get asked to derive the formulas. I mean, the first one is straightforward, but beyond that, I'm not sure how they've got those formulas. You can see them in transom.org/newsletter. Have you ever had the experience of realising something later in life that you wondered how you'd missed for all that time? Well, over the weekend I found out that there are Roman numerals for fractions. Did you know that? I had to quickly add 2 new levels to the Roman numerals exercise to include the fractions while I was excited by the idea, and I reckon it will be a good extension activity for those who quickly master the Roman numeral integers. I made a lesson countdown page for myself, but I guess that others might find it useful too. It works with the class admin system on Transom, and it's linked to from the lesson plan pages, and it provides both a digital and analog countdown leading up to the time when the lesson is due to start according to the lesson plan. And it contains a reduced size version of the starter as listed in the lesson plan, and also a reminder to pupils about the equipment that they should be getting ready before the start of the lesson. And when the countdown does finish, it automatically loads the full-sized version of the starter. So I envisage that this could be projected on the whiteboard at the front of the classroom for the benefit of those arriving early to lessons. But that's not what inspired the idea. My plan is for it to be used as your shared screen on the Zoom or whatever video conference platform you're using in the minutes before you start your online lesson. It gives a bit of a more professional way to start a lesson, and it'll be better than having a blank screen or a waiting room or just having the video turned on and the pupils able to watch you preparing the lesson or stroking your cat or combing your hair or whatever you're doing. So that's called the lesson countdown. Now, talking of online lessons, my repertoire of methods and resources has grown exponentially over the last 12 months. My latest must-have is a bit of software called Manycam, which can be downloaded. It's not free, but it's a reasonable price. I think it is absolutely brilliant. Now, if you can imagine the control room at a big TV studio where they have numerous screens showing all the different views of the studio, and they can easily switch from one to the other as the program's going on. Well, Manycam provides that on your computer. Now, there isn't really time to explain all the benefits and some things you probably haven't even thought of yet. But in the newsletter, I put a screenshot of the bottom of the Manycam screen that shows all the presets. And just to run through the presets that I've just got set up on this example to give you an idea. On the first preset, I've got the lesson countdown timer that I just talked about earlier. And then screen number 2 that I can transition to is just the default view of me talking to the camera. Number 3, I've got an overlay of trigonometry graphs, the trig graphs, and I can sort of point to them from behind, pointing out key features, and that's been really useful. Screen number 4, I've got the numbers 1 to 12 as an overlay around the screen that I can point to for timetable, facts, recall, practice. Screen number 5, I've got a side view. That's just the default camera in my laptop rather than the main Logitech webcam that I've got, and that's sort of good for close-ups of visual aids. Number 6, I've got my iPhone clamped over the desk, so it acts like a visualizer, and I can very easily transition to that view. Number 7, I've got a PowerPoint presentation queued up and ready to go on the computer, and it's all sort of built into the Manycam presets. View number 8, I've got a large view of calculator buttons that I can draw on with the built-in drawing tools. Number 9, I've got a silly congratulations animation to celebrate achievement. Number 10, I've got a PDF file open with sort of me in front of it that I can actually, again, write on and scroll through and highlight various formulas. Number 11, I've got a video from YouTube all queued up and ready to go. And number 12, I've just got a goodbye screen for the end of the lesson. So hopefully that's given you ideas on the range of things that you can quickly transition between to make your lesson very smooth and professional looking. Okay, have you come across the polyominoes activities on Transom? There are a couple of dominoes challenges and tetrominoes, pentominoes and hexominoes investigations. And I'm sure that, like me, as you're doing these things, you like to point out the etymology of the words. But it was only this week I learned that the do, the do in dominoes, isn't a suffix meaning to. Yes, I heard this while I was brushing my teeth. I was listening to a podcast. It was the QI No Such Thing as a Fish podcast, and it went a bit like this.
And I quite like the whole ominos thing. This grew out of the domino, which was the original omino, which is just a piece with 2 bits. And then someone decided in sort of, I think, the 60s or 70s to make polyominoes a thing. So that's one of those shapes with various numbers of squares in them. So yeah, you got dominoes, you got triominoes, you got pentominoes.
Did you say there was an original omino, or is that just
this is a botched etymology.
That's the stem.
I don't think it is though, because the dot in domino doesn't mean 2.
No, it's not a proper. It's the do was domino was a thing, then a person said, "Oh, do sounds a bit like it could mean 2, so let's create this whole class of things called polyominoes."
Fraudulent. It's a fraudulent etymology, is what I'm saying. Domino derives from a word. It was originally we think a hood that priests
it's Dominican
wore.
Monks, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly. And so the domino was the hood worn by the Dominican monks. It doesn't mean anything.
So what should you call it then?
I haven't got an alternative etymology just lined up because I'm not a faker. I wouldn't do that to you guys.
Okay. I mean, you seem quite angry about it. You had a few hours.
I would happily call it a dodomino because it's 4 sections and that could be 2 dominoes together.
Yeah.
Just sounds like you've got a stutter.
Finally, here is the answer to the puzzle of the month. Mrs. P put down £1 in small change, a mixture of 20p and 10p coins, from which the driver could easily see that she wanted a £1 ticket, because otherwise she would have given him exactly 70p. Mrs. Q put down a £1 coin, which could either have been used to pay for either type of ticket. So that's how he knew the difference. That was an interesting sort of unusual puzzle. Hope you enjoyed that and maybe inflict it on your classes. Anyway, that's all for now. Look after yourself and, if you can, someone else too. Bye.
Thank you for downloading and listening to the Transom podcast. You can find the website at www.transom.org, where you're welcome to use all of the activities absolutely free, or jump in with both feet and become a Transom subscriber.